It's like sit-ins, and if it's professional agitation is more hands-on. It's more louder. It's more strident. It's protests. It's that kind of thing.
So the in-your-face, like the guys on the sidewalk getting in your face or pushing people over, throwing rocks, bombs, breaking stuff.
Yep.
Okay.
That kind of thing, exactly. Or you know, back when in the 60s when they would try to get professors in their own offices to be holed up and afraid to even go out their doors. That kind of thing. So the agitation, professional agitation, is considerably more hardball. Then you
Beverly, if you could hold your thought right there, because we're taking a short break. We're going to pick this back up on the other side. Beverly Eakman, BeverlyE.com. We'll be right back on Truth Brigade Radio. Listening to Truth Brigade on AmericanFreedomRadio.com. Thanks for listening tonight. And if you want to join us for the text chat, you'll find that at truthbrigade.com. And the number to call if you have any questions or comments is 512-879-3805. Our special guest, Beverly Eakman. We are talking about agent provocateurs and talking about right now the difference between a change agent, agitator, moderator, facilitator. And I do want to note, if you are in the text chat, we are posting links of where you can see real live provocateurs in action. They're posted at truthbrigade.org in the miscellaneous thread, and special for this show, all of these topics are going to be sticky, so you won't have to look too hard for them. That's at truthbrigade.org. Before we went to the break, you were defining, or we left off on agitator.
Right. Okay, an agitator is, like I said, very hardball. A moderator, now that is seemingly legitimate. It's like a head of a discussion, and that's the type of person that headed that, say, thing on AIDS that was that everybody had to go to in my department, actually every federal employee had to go to. Actually, it's also called a facilitator. A facilitator and a moderator are almost the same thing, except facilitators tend to be in educational settings, and moderators tend to head discussions. But many times a moderator will not really be a moderator. In other words, they have an agenda, or he or she has an agenda, and he's going to give some people more talk time and face time and just more opportunity to speak out than the others. And what they do is both change agents and moderators and facilitators, they do this, all of them. And that is to find out who in the audience or focus group or committee or whatever it is already agreeing with them. And what they're doing is watching body language. So all the people that were kind of nodding their head yes at the film, oh, that's great, because, see, they're not looking at the moderator at all. They don't know what the moderator's even doing because they're watching the film. So the moderator's sitting there, and he or she is trained to remember the faces and what they were doing. I mean, he can't sit there and write everybody's name down or whatever. He's got to remember. And so they're trained to do that. And if they haven't got a good memory for faces and what they're doing and the way their body language is and so on, then they're no good at it. So that's one thing. And then they'll say, well, now we don't want all our children to be hit on by sexual predators, do we now? We don't want our kids to be AIDS victims, or we don't want them to get sexually transmitted diseases, do we? And this would be a ploy to get sex education taught starting in kindergarten. But the body of people that is there for this thing will be told, oh, we're making some curriculum changes. Would you like to come to this meeting? And, we encourage you to come to this meeting, because they have to at least pretend that there has been public input. in a public school, for example, for parents. I mean, because if they don't at least make a show of public input, then they're dead in the water right there. So they've got to get these people there, but then they've got to kind of edge them over to their own ideas. And so, of course, people will say, well, no, I don't want my kid to be a victim of STDs or HIV. Heaven knows. And so then they can start in with their pitch, and before you know it, people are going out supporting condoms for kindergartners. And they get home and they say, what in the heck did I just do? And then an hour later it hits them what they just did, and that they voted for this stupid curriculum, and they meant to do precisely left to their own, they'd do the opposite. And these guys are good. If they're not good, they're not there.
Yeah.
So that would be a moderator or a facilitator in a large group setting. So a moderator, it's usually a smaller group, like a focus group, or, you watch on TV, there's just a few people, say 7 or 8 or 9 people around a table, sitting around a table. And so that's usually a moderator's thing. And a facilitator would have a larger group, for example, people coming to check out this new curriculum change in the public school, the parents and so forth, and interested public, interested citizens in some particular issue that they're bringing up. Say at the county level, it doesn't have to be a school, it could be the county level, it could be transportation. It doesn't matter what the issue is. But the thing is that they can get it going their way, and they can do it right away. Say, more money for public trans versus roads. Now, I don't know what, any particular person thinks about that. I think there's an argument to be made for either one. But the point is that the person that is sitting on that has an agenda one way or the other. They either want you to go for roads or they want you to go for public trans.
But the end result is always the same, wouldn't you say? So it's...
you're being manipulated.
Problem, reaction, solution. The volunteers or members are going because they have an honest or naive willingness to want to volunteer or do something. They have a cause, they have an issue, but the people that they're actually fighting against are the ones pretending to save the day for them. And that's kind of how we get sucked into it and manipulated.
That is exactly right. And, of course, now if you're in journalism, well, then you've got you've got a captive audience, because if they read the newspaper, you can't say anything back. And half the time, there's not even a way to get in contact with them. Sometimes there is, or sometimes they'll put in, you can be reached at whatever it is .com. Like me, for instance, I always put that in my columns, and that most of the people that print my columns go with it. But a lot of them don't. A lot of them don't want to be contacted on a bet. And so and a lot of them are reporters. And they just want to give you their version, and you're going to have to be satisfied with that or go see for yourself. Well, how many people have the time to do that in education, in foreign policy, in public transportation, and religion? I mean, you can go on and on and on. Nobody has that kind of time. And that's why this works. Because they can train them in every single, if you're trained in that and you're really good at it, there is a place for you.
The good news, though, Beverly, is once you know what's going on, you'll never be fooled again, because these agents always follow the same script. That's what they're trained to do, and that's all they know. So if you're a step ahead of them and you know what they're doing, then they're always going to be tripped up or caught off guard and not know how to react, then which obviously will make it more transparent to the rest of the people who they really are.
You got it. You got it exactly. Once you know the script, or you recognize some giveaway lines, and then you realize from those giveaway lines that you know that this is not an honest discussion. If you're involved in an honest discussion, then fine, so be it. Everybody is all for it. But if you're not involved in honest discussion,